Hey everybody, this is Miss Cologne here, and I'm gonna show you how to work your homework problem in case we got stuck. The assignment for this was to do even numbers only. So for the sake of you doing it on your own, I'm only gonna answer the odd numbers. Okay. So before we get into the problem, we're gonna remind ourselves what the scale factor is because in these homework problems, we have to do two things. One, we need to find the scale factor, so that magic number. And then two, we need to use that magic number to find the missing lengths. So not all of them has lengths there. They got variables there. So we need to find that number first before I can move on. So just a reminder what the scale factor is usually the length of that scale copy, so the new image. That's why I put new. And you usually divide by the length of the original copy because if that's the old photo or old image, that's I label it as old. Okay. Or you could do n divided by o. Same thing. So I'm going to work number one, for instance. For the sake of this, so no one's confused, all of the shapes on the left is the original copy. All of the shapes on the right is going to be the scale copy. So, as I said, because the left is original, I'm going to put O. I'm going to label that O for original. That means this is my scale copy, so this is my new. Before I find the scale factor, you need to match your side lengths from both images that corresponds. So because I don't know the value of x for this one, I can't use this one. But I do know I have two of these side lengths that correspond. I have a 4 and I have an 8. Because 8 represents the new, 8 goes on top with the new. Because 4 represents the O for old, O is going to go, 4 is going to go underneath the O. And now, in some instances, you can reduce this to a whole number or a fraction. I want reduced answers only. So 8 divided by 4 happens to be 2. Now, just a reminder, because the scale factor is bigger than 1, that's why this shape is bigger than the original based off that number. Now I got my magic number. So please be sure to use a highlighter. If you don't have a highlighter, use a different color pen. Use a marker. Okay. So now I need to find X. I don't know what X is. So now this side is 5, but I need to find a measure that corresponds to this. So one way to do that, excuse me, I'm so sorry, is to take this length and multiply by your scale factor. Excuse me again. I'm so sorry. Sorry in advance. You're going to take 5 times your scale factor. So it's going to be 5 times whatever your scale factor is. In this case, it's going to be 5 times 2. And 5 times 2 becomes 10. I am so sorry. So sorry. So that is how you would do the rest of your problems, your even ones. 2, 4, 6, and 8. 8 is on the back of this sheet. So I'm going to show you number 5. Let's do number 5. By the way, this is showing work. If you only give me the answers and I don't see any work, I'm only giving you half credit. Just a heads up. Number 5. I need to find the scale factor, and then I need to use that scale factor to find the measure of X. So it doesn't matter so far which one I can use, as long as you don't use this 11, because it does correspond with the missing value. We don't know it yet. So we need to use the scale factor formula, n divided by O. So I'm going to pick a corresponding side. Let's pick this diagonal shape, 7. Now, the side length that corresponds to the 7 would have been the 91 because they both are located near the pointy part. So, like I said, this is old and the one on the right is always new. So 91 represents the N. So 91 over 7 represents the ode. 7. And then you're going to divide, simplify, reduce. Now, you may need to use a calculator if you're getting weird, funky numbers and we're not recognized. But 91 divided by 7 can go into it 13 times. So the scale factor, that magic number, it's 13. And again, that number is way bigger than 1. So this image is way bigger than this image, okay? Now, in order to find x, you need to pick 11 because that is the only alternating side. And then this will correspond right with it. So now, how do you find the scale factor? Well, you need to take whatever the side length in your original and multiply by your scale factor. So I'm going to do 11 times 13. Which again, if you're going to have to use a calculator for some of these problems that are big, but 11 times 13 gives you 143. So that missing length is 143. Okay. Now, you have 2 word problems to work with, so I'm only going to do one of them. I'm going to do 11 because you guys have to do 10 and 12. So number 11 reads, a telephone booth that is 8 feet tall casts a shadow that is 4 feet long. Determine the scale factor and find the height of the lawn ornament that casts a 2-foot shadow. When in doubt, draw it out. So I got a telephone booth. Cool. Let me draw a telephone booth. And again, you don't have to get so creative. I'm not that creative, but let's say this is a telephone booth, right? The telephone booth, it says that it's 8 feet tall. So I know from here to here, it is 8 feet. But it says it casts a shadow. And we all know shadows are typically horizontal from us. So it casts a shadow that is 4 feet long from here to here. Okay. Now, we need to find the scale factor and then the height of the lawn ornament. So let me draw a lawn ornament. Let's draw a lawn ornament. Let's do a tree, for instance. They're saying we need to find the height of the tree. So I don't know how tall this tree is, that ornament. I'm going to put a question mark because I need to find that. But I do know the shadow of the tree. The shadow is going to be 2 feet. The reason why I drew this out, I need to make sure I'm matching the information given. Do not randomly put things anywhere. Okay? So, I have my height and shadow, but I don't have the height here, but I have the shadow. So to find my scale factor, you need to use your formula, N divided by O. So then in this case, I can still highlight what I have. Your telephone booth is considered your old original object. Let's say that. So this represents O, meaning your tree or your ornament is going to be your new. So to help you out, I know the shadow for the telephone booth. I also know the shadow of the ornament. So 2 represents the new. So it's going to be 2. 4 represents the O, the ode. Now, you need to reduce that, like I said. I need a reduced fraction. So if I divide top and bottom, the only numbers that will work, by 2, you get 1/2. Now, 1/2 is a scale factor. I just found that. But it's asking me to find something else. You need to find the height. I still don't know how tall this ornament is, right? So you're going to take your magic number, you just found 1/2, and you're going to multiply by the original side length. In this case, it's 8. So I'm going to do 8 times 1/2. Now, this can go 2 different ways if you don't like fractions. You can do 8 times 1/2, or you can do 8 divided by the reciprocal of 1/2, which in this case is 2/1, or 2 in this case. And 8 divided by 2 becomes 4. Now, make sure you answer the problem. Don't just write 4, because I wanted to know the height. And if all of these measurements are